What's the best accidental nudity you've seen? When I was 11 or 12, the Navy was giving public tours of some Battleship, which was like a big public event. So I'm on deck with my mom, little brothers and a tour group of like 50 people when a yacht floats by with a dozen partiers making a lot of noise. Naturally everyone turns around and two of the women on the yacht pull their tops off, which got a great laugh. Then a third woman turns around, bends over and pulls her bikini bottom down. And that's the story of how I saw my first IRL vagina from like 200 feet away. Good day. A female housemate wore short shorts without underwear, and for the duration of a movie we were all watching, the fabric was to one side, and it was a clear shot right at her lady business. Better than the movie Black Swan anyway. I used to work room service in a hotel. It wasn't that uncommon for people to answer the door in very little. One time this woman answered wearing just a robe, which fell open when she went to take the tray from me. I also worked in a hotel for a bit. I was 17 and worked in the kitchen as a dishwasher, but part of the job was doing random jobs for the front desk. So one evening I'm asked to take a mini fridge up to her room. Mid-90s and fridges were still a luxury in our hotel. In the room was a visiting girls softball team hanging out in their pajamas. There was some pretty sweet pajamas. Then one came out of the shower with just a towel and another girl, God bless her, yanked it off her in front of me. There was screaming, laughing, swearing and me getting shoved out and the door slammed. Good time. I spent some time in the USA, and I was in a raft with my friend and his family. Right in front of me was his sister. She was wearing short shorts and no underwear. And at some point she opened her leg a bit more and voila. I looked once and I was like, is this really? Looked again, yup. She looked at me right after, but I don't think she. When I was 16, my first job was pumping gas at a gas station. We had this couple that were regulars and one day, they pull in, and the guy's wife is in a dress, has her legs up on the dashboard and spread wide for the world to see. No underwear. Clearly intentional. The first time it happened, I passed it off as some bizarre trick my mind had played on me, but then they did it again. About the third time I, in my infinite 16-year-old wisdom, decided to tell them we need more customers like you guys, as they were paying leaving. Never happened again, and, in fact, the guy came back alone later that day and asked me to apologize to his wife the next time they came in. Thank God that was the last time I ever saw them. Left quite the lasting impression, though. Used to walk to my neighbor's place to pick him up for school. I had a car and he didn't yet. We were both juniors in high school. His sister was a senior with late arrival, so she was usually just getting up and ready when we were leaving. I was standing in his kitchen a little earlier than normal because on Fridays, we'd hit up McDonald's or the bakery before school. His sister walks out of the shower while drying her hair, completely nude. I couldn't do anything but freeze and stare for a full 2 seconds before she realized I was standing there, and she half screamed, half laughed, and I shouted sorry as she ran to her bedroom. I didn't say anything to anyone about it, but we had a physics class together every other day and she came in that day red-faced and still giggling. She was a real sport about it. Bunch of accidental nudity seen at beaches, lakes, etc, but my favorite was when I was working at a small clothing store just out of high school. A large family comes in to do some back to school shopping. One daughter from this family that I kinda knew was a senior in high school. This was one of those families with 10 kids and the mom just had the last kid about 12-18 months earlier. She was watching her little brother while her mom was helping the other brothers and sisters find clothes. I'm stationed at the main checkout counter, which is located directly across from the women's fitting room. She goes into the first room that is right in front of the opening to all the rooms and pulls the curtain closed with her little brother who can barely walk in the room with her. Probably a bad design idea to have a room directly in front of the exit to the fitting room along with using curtains instead doors. Now remember, at the time we were trained to notice people movement in fitting rooms cause that is where a lot of shoplifting takes place. like noticing what a person is wearing when they enter and leave. I'm at the counter doing work and I see movement. The barely walking little brother has a handful of curtain and using it to steady himself and proceeds to fully open the curtain, revealing his sister topless and wearing a very nice thong. She has her back to the curtain and doesn't notice. The little brother then walks back in the other direction and closes the curtain and she never noticed anything. I always knew the girl was cute but had no idea she had a great. The parents were pretty conservative and didn't really let them wear tight clothing, but I guess the daughter I kinda knew snuck sexy underwear into the house. Last year, the day after my fiance's sister's wedding, I, in all my still drunken glory, go back to my hotel room to pack up after breakfast. I get to the room, and the door was cracked open. Thinking it was just housekeeping or something, I walk in. There's a blonde woman, probably mid-40s, standing butt naked right in front of the door. She stares at me. I stare back. I say sorry, and she carries on with her business. I walk out of the room only to realize I am on the wrong floor. Didn't seem to bother her a bit. A few years ago my friend invited me to his house. When I entered there was this couch with his sister, a very hot sister too, sleeping semi-nude. She had a t-shirt and see-through panties. Don't know the word for those. The ones made with fancy cloth or something. I saw it in junior high. End of the year celebration at the auditorium ended and we all went home early. This group of girls were all play fighting, trying to trip each other and pants one another. They were a grade below mine. Well, one girl was successful and pulled down the skirt of this very voluptuous white chick and she wasn't wearing any underwear. Man, she turned so red, but that was perfect. Best moment of my teenage life. I was an 18-year-old freshman at a large university and was walking on campus in the first week of school. Still warm enough for girls to wear short skirts around campus. I am walking down this narrow side street that also serves a shop's bookstore on campus and a girl walks out of a door about 10 feet in front of me. I look up and see that she had accidentally tucked the back of her skirt into the waistband of her almost thong. I immediately look around me to see if someone else notices this attractive girl with her almost bare ass walking in front of me, but no one was around. I caught up to her before she turned the corner of a busy intersection and told her about the wardrobe malfunction. She looked at me, fixed the skirt immediately, and almost ran away. Felt bad because she was embarrassed, worried I was a creep. The place we always stayed at for our family's beach vacation used to have college kids staying in the building next to it. One summer they must have been doing work in the bathroom because there were no curtains on the shower, which faced our apartment's porch. 3 people were showering together and I could see a lot. 13-year-old me was pretty happy. Work in a large animal surgery hospital, where we have interns and locker rooms and such. There's a room for the interns that has computers for them to do computer stuff, and across from it is the men's shower locker room. I've got 2 interns in the story. We will call them Ben and Jerry. So I'm looking for Jerry to ask a question about one of his charts or something, and I hear him talking to Ben from down the hallway. I walk down the hallway and turn into the intern room and only see Jerry. Confused, I look around and turn around to see Ben standing like a ducking Calvin Klein model in the doorway of the locker room. Mind you, Ben is basically a Greek god looking dude. My eyes pop out of my head, my face gets red and I make some kind of horrendous noise and spin back around. Thank Jerry and then run away. I can still hear Jerry laughing. I was too shocked to fully enjoy the experience, and I couldn't look Ben in the eyes for a good 3. Female co-worker regularly changed into post-work running clothes in her office. The door didn't quite latch one day and it slowly swung open while she was changing. I happened to walk by and notice. Her back was to the door, but it was a nice brief view. Girl in high school took a shower at my buddy's house and came out in a towel, but went to shut the bathroom door behind her and the towel got caught in the door and ripped off when she took another step. I used to go to a gym where the treadmills face the thigh abductors and the girl using it was very cute and was not wearing underwear under her shorts. It was very nice. The day you ran until you burned 48,000 calories. If you've ever surfed, there's plenty of accidental nudity on an almost daily basis. Just don't stare. That's why I wear sunglasses. I was out for coffee with a friend who was wearing a very low cut top. I had to tell her twice her nipple was showing. I wouldn't say best, but it was definitely funny. This question was meant for me. Was working on a project in college with a group of 3 other people. We shared our files on Google Docs. I was sitting next to the girl in my group and asked her to open our project file on Google Docs. She opens her Google Docs and all of her nude pictures were there. There were at least 10. She was so embarrassed. Took the family boat out to the lake one summer. Me, 2 buddies and 5 girls. We all jumped in to cool off. I was hanging onto the back of the boat, and one of the girls, a redhead, started climbing the ladder next to me to get back in. Her bikini bottom was a little loose. I saw all. And yes, the carpets matched the drapes. Was on a boat trip at summer camp. Attractive young lady was changing in her room and her friend opened the door and young Tendy got a full frontal view of this girl. Of course I felt bad for her but we laughed about it and were cool still. Back in middle school me and my neighbors, Dude 1, Dude 2, and Girl, were chilling in Dude 1's hot tub. Girl was blowing air into her top to make fake big boobs. Dude 2 pulled on her top and her titty popped out. We all laughed like idiots, while underneath the water was a rigger. Super hot friend came strutting out of her BF room fully naked at 3 AM after his birthday party when the rest of us were out there hanging out. She was drunk and forgot we were there. Was at a party, passed out on the couch. Friend's girlfriend was sleepwalking, or still drunk, trying to make her way to the bathroom. She's walking into everything, so of course this wakes me up. She's butt naked. She drunkenly walked into living room to check if I was asleep. Turns out lights and goes to bed. Friend's older sister had a boob slip out of her nightie while we were playing a game of Monopoly. Had a friend who was an easy 10/10ths gorgeous face, flawless skin, filled out in the right areas with just enough jiggle with the muscle tone. I was at her house with her 2 brothers. She says she's going in the back to tan. I get bored hanging with her brothers for a while then go out to hang out with her a bit. Well, there is a tall gate and fence that you have to kind of unlatch. The backyard setup was weird. You had to enter it from outside the house on the side. Call her name out to come unlock it. No response. Forgot that she had headphones and a CD player as she walked out. Jump up onto the fence to look over and try to get her attention. That's a very tan bathing suit she has. Oh, that's not a bathing suit. Jump back down. Go inside. Why didn't you guys tell me she tanned naked? She found out that I saw her later and laughed. She thought it was hilarious. Thank God.